West Ham have got money to spend in this transfer window. More importantly, we are allowed to spend money in this transfer window. We're not near financial fair play, so that is not a risk at all. The last count, I think we were £75 million away from it. So it's something we don't have to worry about, which is really good, bearing in mind what's happening to other clubs. However, I'll tell you something that's really annoying me at the moment, and it's the peddling of this continual narrative that it's hard to buy players in January. I've seen 2 signings happen, and they've gone for cheap money, and it's annoyed me, and they're signings West Ham should have made. Do you remember the geezer, Gift Obrán? He played for Ghent. Good player. He caused us all manner of troubles last season, if you remember. Was absolutely brilliant, I thought. Sort of had everything, pace, strength, just a really, really good player. And I think he was rumoured at the time. They were all calling him the brightest young property in Belgian football and all that sort of stuff. You remember we played against him last season. He's just signed for Olympique Lyonnais for €13 million. And it's funny, I often hear, associate with players, people say, oh, such and such is worth a punt. €13 million. I mean, what is that? Is that £10 million, something like that? That is worth a punt by the very definition. He's not going to be on high wages. He's comfortable in wide positions. He's strong. He's fast. We've got a problem up front. Why would you not do that? Look, we're going to speak about Armando Broja later and his ridiculous £50 million price tag. But for £10 million, £10 million, come on. You know, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Look, we weren't linked with him. We should have been linked with him. These are the sort of players we should have been all over. I think the other one as well, that I mentioned it before, was Barco, who's gone to Brighton. Again, £10 million. Again, I think. No-brainer, you know, can play sort of anywhere down that left-hand side. Could play on the wing, could play at full-back. Honestly, I think some of the business we're not doing is ridiculous given some of the prices that some of these players are going for. Anyway, that's that. Fabrizio Romano, he has reiterated just today that Steven Bergwijn is West Ham's top target. I don't know why I did that, but it is inverted commas, actually. West Ham's top target. Now, he is reliable. He really is, Fabrizio Romano. I think one thing you can guarantee is that there will be interest from West Ham in him if Romano says that. If he says he's our top target, that means we're going for him above and beyond anybody else. It was the latter part of what he said that I didn't like, though. And that was that he's our top target, especially if we can offload Said Benrahma. Now we get to the 6 degrees of separation again. Said Benrahma was linked with Olympique Lyonnais. Well, as I understand, we've already discussed Olympique Lyonnais signed Obrán, and I think they're looking to make another signing within the next couple of days as well. I think it's possibly Arnaud Danjuma, who we were linked with numerous occasions. I'll tell you now, if they sign Danjuma and they've signed Obrán, they are not signing Said Benrahma, not at all. This whole thing about getting the money back, look, I've done it to death. We need to realign our expectations with what sort of money we think we're going to get for Benrahma. And if what you're saying is we bring Bergwijn in if Benrahma goes, you can barely compare the two in terms of output. Basically, one of them gets goals and assists and the other one doesn't. So I don't know why we'd... It's basically, if you've decided that we need someone in that position, it's not like you're thinking we can make do with Said Benrahma. We probably can't. We need somebody that's going to force their way into the first team. And I don't care if it's a winger, it's a striker, or it's another midfielder. We need somebody that is going to put Thomas Souček onto the bench, because that will then give David Moyes a substitute that he wants to use. And it will suddenly be using sort of 12 players rather than 11. You get the point, basically. Callum Marshall. Callum Marshall has been a hot property, really. Hot property all season. A lot of clubs want him on loan. He ain't going on loan. That's what I've heard. He's not going on loan. The club want to renew his contract. There is actually more urgency to get Callum Marshall signed down to a contract than there is actually to get Divine Mubama signed on at the moment. The club would like to do both, but Callum Marshall has become the priority, as I understand it. But he will not be going out on loan this season. Well, that's what I've heard anyway. What I've heard could be totally wrong. Let's go with Armando Broja for a second, because I think this is absolutely crazy. So, you know the history. We wanted this player. He was absolutely brilliant against us when he was on loan at Southampton, played against us. Absolutely amazing. Seems to have all the attributes that David Moyes would choose to have in a striker. Absolutely brilliant. We were linked to him. In fact, he was our choice before Scamacca. He got injured as well. We got Scamacca. It wasn't exactly that timeline. We got Scamacca, then he got injured, actually. But and now it looks like Chelsea want to sign him. Yet before his injury was £30 million. Now he's had an injury, he's not scored loads of goals, and it was a knee injury, by the way, and he's suddenly worth £50 million. Yeah, 50 million. So Chelsea, honestly, it sounds so entitled. Chelsea have said they are willing to sell him. They're acting like they've got a really expensive commodity. They're willing to sell him if somebody can come up with £50 million. Well, that's very, very good. He's not worth £50 million. They might want £50 million, but them getting £50 million is a totally different look. Okay, look, I want 10 grand to go and tie some balloon animals at someone's wedding. I ain't going to bloody get it. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. I don't know why I picked that example, but you know what I mean? You can ask for these things. You're just not going to get them. We might want £30 million for Saïd Benrahma. We ain't going to get it. We might get 13. I'm not sure that Chelsea get 20 for Breuer at the moment. The best thing they can hope for is to get him out on loan. He scores some goals and someone gets an option to buy. I think that's as good as it gets. Look, West Ham have said that they're not, whoever, we, not interested at that value. Not even close. And, well, I think the board have pretty much leaked today that they're not interested in buying him anyway. There is no interest in him. So where is the bloody interest? We've surely got to be interested in someone. Well, according to Fabrizio Romano, Stephen Bergwijn. I've just got to finish up by talking about Kalvin Phillips. Palace are interested. Apparently we're interested. I don't think there's any shift in this one. I'll talk about someone putting Thomas Souček on the bench. It could well be Kalvin Phillips, couldn't it, really? I think we're placing an awful lot of stock on our players coming back from the African Cup Nations and coming back from injury and then being able to play for the remainder of the season. It's a weird concept, actually. I've got to say, it's as if they're going to come back and they're going to be fine. So all we got to do is get through January. That somehow Kudus comes back and everything's fine. He doesn't get injured for the rest of the season. Paquetá doesn't get injured for the rest of the season. Same with Bowen. Same with Antonio. We just have to get through this little bit and then they'll be fine. Like they're all, I don't know, like this sort of bionic or robots that are going in for servicing, and once they get the service they'll be fine. They're not. They're human beings. They break down, and some of them have shown the propensity to break down more frequently than others. I think it's a hell of a risky policy. I really do, and it's been an annoying transfer window because of what I said at the start of the video. When you see people like Olympique Lyonnais go and getting a player, like Aubran, for getting players, Leeds. It's not Leeds. Crikey, we've got to talk about Leeds, actually. But, you see teams buying players for what seems to be reasonable money. You think, why can't West Ham go and do that? You can actually go out and buy some pretty bloody decent players for 15 million quid, and we just don't seem to be bothered. Let's go. Leeds. Wilfried Gnonto. My word. There's an Italian journalist, or 2 or 3 of them, who seem very, very convinced that he's signing for West Ham. And they're reporting that Leeds are so convinced that Gnonto's going to West Ham that they're already, lining up their next signings for when the money comes in. Look, Gnonto is a very talented player, but he's not really featured for Leeds much this season. Apparently a very, very disruptive player. Was labelled the most disruptive player in the Leeds squad. Now, the thing is, I'm not sure how that plays out with David Moyes' MOT test. All I can say about David Moyes' MOT test, it's a load of old crap. We have signed plenty of players under David Moyes who actually supposedly the MOT test, if you don't know, he does his due diligence on their characters and their personalities. So he knows that they're hard workers, they've got a good team ethic, good character. David Moyes has signed loads of players. Then when he's got them into the club, he's decided that he doesn't like their character and wants to get them out. He gives a lot of players, gets them in, doesn't give them a chance and wants them out. So his MOT is just a load of old rubbish. That being said, Gnonto has been called the most disruptive player in the Leeds squad. So, look, what do I know? Again, he's another one. Look at the value. Last season, Leeds were talking about 40 million. He tried to push for a move to Everton last season. Didn't happen. 40 million, not even close. 10 million, you might be talking. But, let's be fair, looks like West Ham don't even want to spend £10 million at the moment.